The NFT FOMO is real. We're seeing the mints for these new NFT projects selling out in minutes. We're seeing the floor prices of NFT projects skyrocket, and we're also seeing millions of dollars in gas being spent. The NFT market is now the biggest contributor to the burning of Ethereum, which is absolutely phenomenal from an industry that has really taken off in the year 2021. In today's video, we're looking at the Fluf World collection. This one's taken the NFT marketplace by storm over this past weekend. It's up roughly 20x from its mint price of 0.09 ETH. I posted on my Patreon yesterday, I was buying one. The price at that point was roughly 0.4 ETH. They're now in the region of about 1.6, 1.7, or even 1.8 ETH, depending on what kind of properties you're looking for. So whilst this industry is running hot right now, it does feel like a bit of a bubble environment is forming. So the question to be answered, is there potential further upside in the NFT marketplace? So if you're new here and you enjoy the content, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into this one. So here we have the Fluf World collection. This is one of the 3D animated bunnies that is not just a JPEG, and it's actually a short video clip, roughly 32 seconds in duration, and it has background music to it as well. So this is a strange fusion of art, music, and culture all in one that is rapidly gaining a very large community. So what do these rabbits actually do? What rights are they going to grant us? Let's take a little look. So fluf.world is the actual website. Go across to the features section up here and you can see what's on the roadmap for this NFT collection. It says it's for people who love great art and music. So some of the highlights within this are the fact that they're going to be creating these voxel fluffs so you can take them into the metaverse and actually take your bunny avatar into these different virtual worlds that are coming soon. In terms of the music behind these, they're all original sounds, but you will have the ability to actually customize and change these at a later date. Plus, they're going to be rolling out a breeding mechanism. This will allow you the right to create these fluff babies. So this means that ownership of an original bunny collection will give you the right to breed bunnies. I believe you'll need one male and one female to create part of this new collection. On top of this, they're going to be having exclusive music events. Something that did catch my eye is the fact that Steve Aoki, a very famous DJ, has actually bought himself some fluffs down here. He actually purchased these. I went and checked out his Ethereum address. He paid 2.5 ETH for this guy down here. So potentially I'm thinking maybe he's going to perform a DJ set in the metaverse for which you're going to be required to own one of these bunnies. There's going to be merch drops as well, and also a gaming lounge where you can actually play with your fluffs within the game. There seems to also be a bit of a DeFi element here. There's going to be a liquidity pool allowing you to stake your fluffs to earn rewards. As with many of these collections, you've got the IP rights behind your individual character, and it looks like there's future drops and additions to the actual characters here. You're going to have a background of its home and potentially being able to mint its own carrot. So this really goes to show, using the ERC 721 standard, how many different avenues that can be explored, the different ways you can create on top of an existing NFT and just continue to iterate and create more and more value. So I think this one's done exceptionally well due to the fact it's different. It's not just a profile picture. It's an MP4 download, you can use it as GIFs, and of course it contains music as well, so an additional element on top. So whilst we've seen a lot of saturation in the 10,000 edition JPEG collections, Fluf World is doing something different in a novel way, so this is why the price has absolutely ballooned. So one of the few things that does put me off about this collection is the fact that there was a pre-sale. So unlike many of the others where everyone's got a fair playing field, you go in, you participate in the gas war, and you try and mint as many as possible. This one did seem to have a pre-sale before the main sale to the public. So this does strike back to the IDO days of earlier in the year when we're seeing a lot of pre-allocation already given out. But over in the general chat here on the Discord, you can see that this is a very vibrant community. Many people already in here showing off the variety of different bunnies they've been able to mint and generating some real hype on Twitter. This is why you're seeing a lot of FOMO for this. They're limited in number, and if you can get the social media ball really rolling, this is why the price is going to keep popping up. And you do see quite a bit of this, people saying hold, almost at a 2 ETH price floor, a lot of price talk within this, and this just further feeds that FOMO. They've just been added here to Rarity tools, and one of the things that pops out for me straight off the bat is the fact there's less females than males, 3,011 versus 6,989, so roughly a 30-70% split. But the price on the OpenSea market doesn't seem to really reflect this, as the females haven't really got that much of a higher price than the males. And if you require a female to breed with a male, it would make sense to be looking to purchase some of these, in my humble opinion. So from a mint of 0.09 ETH, first day of trade, it was up to around 0.41 average, then yesterday up to around 0.96, almost 1 Ethereum, and then today just over 1.76 ETH, roughly a 20x gain. So this certainly does strike me as a bit frothy in the market, but if the demand is there and it's limited supply, even with many people just flipping these right now, you can see the price continue to rise up, and there's just consistent offers pouring in around that 1 ETH price level. And for the less patient amongst us, there's people just bidding up and getting these at the ask prices. And I've seen a few going for double digits in ETH today as well. So I did manage to actually flip one of these yesterday. I was caught a little bit off guard with the price rise, got in around 0.45 ETH, I believe it was, and then flipped it for a bit more. I should have held on for a little bit longer. But in terms of where it came from the mint price to what I bought and then sold at, I thought it was a very good deal. And to be honest with you, taking profits in this sector is an essential part of the game. So whilst I may have left a little bit on the table, profit is profit. So do keep that in mind. So let's jump into one here and have a little look. I've filtered by female, as I think that these are the best value ones to actually get your hands on. And in terms of the properties down here, you can see this one has some pretty rare traits, a few 3% down here. And of course, everyone's favorite, the Lambo background. But is it appropriate to spend $5,000 on an image or a little short video with some music behind it? That is kind of, the beauty's in the eye of the beholder time, something for you to weigh up yourself, not financial advice. Do your own research and make sure you know what you're getting involved with. I know number is going up right now, but it does seem a bit frothy to be paying 5K for one of these. So we had some great alpha yesterday from Ellios Trades. He put together this thread all about NFTs reaching their euphoric stage. And it does seem like that. Right now, we're due for a crash, are we? He poses it's both a yes and a no to that question. So over the last 2 months, there's been insane growth within this market with some huge key data showing that OpenSea has absolutely exploded, a lot of new entrants into this marketplace. And so in 2020, OpenSea did a total of $21 million in yearly volume. So 21 million bucks in the whole of 1 year. Then on the 1st of August, in that just one day, $322 million worth of trade took place. So that is a whopping 15x or more in terms of the volume. So you can see how explosive these new industries within the crypto space can be, and this is how you can make some serious money within this. As they say, a rising tide lifts all boats, which we've certainly seen, but there will be corrections on the way. So within this, Ellios mentions that the 10K item format of randomized traits and rarities is what we've become accustomed to, and this is due to the fact CryptoPunks and Bored Apes have done super well from this. The problem here is that the clear gains are coming from the OG collections, and these are attracting more and more flippers who don't actually care about the NFTs. They're just trying to make some money. As they can see, there's greater gains to be made here than the fungible token world. So this is now in stark contrast to the idealistic diamond-handed early investors that made the punks and the apes so special. So when we think about a potential crash in NFTs, it will most certainly wipe out the less committed communities of those chasing those easy gains. But what's going to happen to the OG projects? Well, he reckons these are going to be the blue chips of the NFT collection. So your apes, your punks, ones that will continue to accrue value over time as people potentially flip the lower class or less rare collections, try and build up their stack so they can afford to buy an ape or a punk. Because the fact of the matter is, if you've got a lot of people just flipping and trading these in certain categories, then they're not going to be really committed to holding these for any duration, and you could see the floor price really start to drop when there is a market-wide crash. So his strategy with this is to ride this bubble, flip the 10K projects, but funnel profits back into those blue chips for the long run, similar to what you would do with altcoins and your ETH and your BTC stacks, for example. And then you've got to know that the crash will come, but when it comes, you want to be positioned to take full advantage. So he's suggesting the market is now really frothy and we are ready for a genuine pullback. So do be aware of this as we roll into the coming weeks. Eventually the buying demand will slow. But in terms of these collections and their overall demand on the Ethereum network, it's super plain to see that this is the hot industry. You've got space poggers, OpenSea, demanding the greatest amount of ETH to be burnt. In number 1 and 2 spaces here on the ETH leaderboard, Space Poggers was a mint, I think it was just yesterday, 570 ETH being burned as a result. That is a whopping $1.7 million worth of ETH burned from a new NFT collection going live. So you can see the kind of FOMO around this. People are just throwing their money into these, hoping they can hit the jackpot. And oftentimes they are hitting the jackpot, but you need to be aware that there will be losers in this game as well. Another bit of alpha from Cryptopathic here. He says this: it's far easier to get emotionally attached to collectible investments than normal liquid ones. Keep this in mind if you are trading your NFTs. So you will find an emotional attachment. You start to pick out the NFTs that kind of really represent your personality or the ones you particularly enjoy. But if you're doing this to actually add to your ETH stacks, do be aware that you're meant to be trading these. If that is your particular strategy, taking profits is going to be an essential part of this. You don't want to become too attached to your JPEG, because if the floor price just absolutely drops, you do need to be aware that you could just be holding this for a long time. So personally, I'm taking these words of caution on board and implementing a strategy to be selling off my NFTs regularly, trying to flip them and get my hands on those blue chip level NFTs. So top of the list for me is the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Carried out a bit of a research report on this last month over on my channel. Go and check it out. It is just by here on the channel if you want to go and watch it. At the time, these were trading for around 3.5 ETH. Ethereum was a lot cheaper. It was roughly $7,000 to get my hands on one of these, and I did not take that opportunity and have been kicking myself ever since. However, I think in this market it is best to have quote unquote goldfish brain. You need to forget about the mistakes you're making and just continue onwards. Beating yourself up over these things is not going to help in the long run. So I'm kind of erasing this from my memory and just trying to crack on with getting my hands on one through the flipping process and trying to trade my way from maybe less desirable collections to the most desirable. For me, I really like the Bored Apes. Now, one of the collections I believe will do very well is the Astro Friends one. And these ones have a floor price that is quite low of 0.21 Ethereum. Now, the reason I think that these will do well is the fact the second generation or the second set to come from these is the Rickstro Bull. And anyone who's a fan of Rick and Morty will know what this artwork looks like. It does look very much like a Rick and Morty caricature here, and that's because the creator of these is Mike Vasquez, the original animator on the TV series. So for me as a fan of that show, I really want to mint one of these Rickstro Bulls, as they're calling them. And to, of course, get your hands on one, you need to own one of these guys originally. So owning the original set of bulls gives you the right to the future IP, which is the Rick and Morty Astro Bull, the Rickstro Bull. And I actually think that the second generation of these, the Rickstro Bulls, will actually outperform the original bulls due to the fact they have ties to popular culture and are really going to engage with individuals who are into the actual show. Now, the ability to mint one of the Rickstro Bulls has not been yet announced in terms of a date, but it should be coming up soon. I've been keeping my eyes on their Discord channel for this. They're hinting at things, but as of yet, we have not got a firm date for the drop. These also are deflationary, as you can burn one of your bulls and make 2 burger patties. So over time, the quantity of bulls will go down, and they're also going to give you the right to future collections that come out as well. So I think this is a pretty good hold for me, and I'm waiting in anticipation to get my hands on a Rickstro Bull. So definitely give these guys a check out as well, because we've seen over the last few weeks, once things hit a trend, the prices just skyrocket. A lot of people in this industry have made a lot of money, and so the floor prices can balloon quite quickly. So the NFT sector seems to be leading the charge in the second leg of this bull run, which is very exciting. And whilst we're seeing the prices of your Bitcoins, your Ethereums going up through the roof right now. The price for these NFT assets has not wavered. So even though Ethereum's gone from like 2K to 3K, the prices of ETH for these digital artworks are increasing as well. So serious amounts of US dollars can be generated from them. So whilst there is riches to be made, do be aware that this looks very frothy right now. As most people are gloating about the gains they're making on Twitter, it does seem very euphoric. So do proceed with caution, make sure you're taking profits, and if you are flipping, have a game plan in mind. If you want to join our community NFT talk, come and check out my Patreon link down below and get involved. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.